Hey, I'm your host, Anthony Tank Mansfield, and with you today is...
Jackie Mellinger.
And this is What You Into.
What you into? What you into?
All right, here we go. We're back. Listener, exciting program today. Excited podcast today. Old friend of mine, Jackie, dropping into the basement. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I haven't seen you in a few years. I was really stoked that we got to reconnect over this. Friend of the show, Cody, knew I was looking for a Pokemon person. And he's like, get Jackie. And I'm like, really? He's like, yes, get Jackie. So reached out. You were instantly like, I would love to come and talk about this.
Absolutely. My encyclopedic knowledge of Pokemon finally has a use.
Finally, I get to. I've had this thing that I've had stored up for so long, and now I get to explode and talk about it.
No, genuinely, because I feel like half of my brain storage is probably occupied by Pokemon, like trivia facts. Like it's been years in the making.
Hell yeah, perfect. This is listener. This is and I'm listener. I'm guessing if you're a regular listener, this is also one of the things you love about the podcast is when people come in like this that are really just passionate about this is the thing I'm into and I love it and it's a big part of my life and I just get to talk about it and it's like yes because this is something that I don't know, so I know about but I don't know a ton about because I was doing a little bit of research for the show and I was looking at it and it's so Pokemon dropped in America like 1996, 97, somewhere
around
in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was like a junior in high school and then I was going on to college. So like I'm aware of it. I understand of where it exists in the pop culture universe, but it's one of those things like other things that didn't hit me that hit other people, like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, The Hunger Games, Harry Potter. There's like a lot of stuff that like I was outside the age range of, but I know of.
Yeah.
And when I started talking about this episode with people, they were like, oh, dude, this is going to be great because there is a whole fuck ton of people that are younger than me that love Pokemon.
And it is such a huge franchise too, like not even just in facts of merchandise, like we were talking about briefly before this, the anime, the cards, like, you know, the games, like there's so many facets of it, spin-offs of the games. Mm-hmm. Like it's just crazy. The amount of branches, the rabbit holes.
the existence of it in pop culture, it's one of those things where like Pikachu has now entered the mascot level of like Mickey Mouse and Mario, where Pikachu is like an instantly recognizable international thing.
Yeah, he's even got the float in the Thanksgiving parade. Like, I think that's been a yearly thing since, like, the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, the staying power, too, because people thought when it came up, when it did, it was, like, the Pokemania or whatever, like Beanie Babies. They thought it was going to be that kind of thing, and it wasn't going to stay. And it's had its, like, ups and downs, but it's, I think, one of, if not the highest grossing, like, franchise, like, media franchise.
100%.
You can fact check me on that, but it's somewhere up there, like, so.
Hell yeah. Well, listener, we're going to get into all this, but before we do, let's hit you with a couple quick plugs. Remember to find me at NeoToKnow on Instagram is where you can find me. My link tree's there. You can find Jackie on Instagram as well. Cool Shaven Ken, which, great name, by the way.
Thank you. That's my favorite Ken doll. It's ridiculous.
All right. So since this is your first time on the show, I like to have a moment where we kind of get to know you outside of the thing that you're into and talk about some other stuff. And instantly you came in here and you immediately went to my record collection and started like just flipping through everything. And then you're talking to me about your CD collection. So when did you start collecting CDs?
So I have done that, honestly, since I was a kid. Like I was telling you, my parents got me one of those big old CD players with the 5-disc CD changers for my birthday one year because my mom wanted me to stop using hers. She was like, nice. You're going to mess my shit up. Don't fucking touch this anymore. Here's this for you. So really since then, but it's gotten a lot more intense in the last few years. So, but I've just been listening to a lot more music and what have you. But basically just on and off since, I was like 10 or 11. I've just been hoarding all these CDs. So
Can we talk about the importance of the multi-changer in CD culture? Because, so, listener, come back with us in a time machine to the late 80s and 90s, where there was this whole weird thing where, like, you could have a compact disc player, and we used to have, like, cassette players. You would have, like, 2 cassettes, so you could, like, dub them and shit, or you could, like, have one in reserve. But all of a sudden, it got fucking nuts with CD changers, because then it turned into, like, there was, like, 3-disc carousels, 5-disc carousels, cars. All of a sudden, you would have like a 10-disc carousel in the back.
That's what always amazed me as a kid, when people would have the disc changers in their cars. Because my sister had a car that had one that I think did at least 3, but like my mind blown.
Yeah,
like I could not comprehend how we got that into a car. Like,
yeah, it was incredible. That was like such a high end item at the time. It's like, check it out. I can like change it just boop. And nowadays it's just like, okay, well, this is taking too long.
Yeah.
But back then, world-changing shit.
Oh, yeah, no. That was, like, the peak, the pinnacle. Like, I remember getting that CD player, and even then I was like, oh my gosh, like, it's got the 5-disc, like, and it had these speakers with it. I don't have the original speakers anymore, but it has, like, a sound EQ thing. Like, it was, like, prime when I got it when I was younger. Very exciting. But, man, yeah, nowadays, and with all, like, the... because I know a lot of, like, the audiophile stuff, which absolutely, I know a few people into it, but, like, they look at my setup and be like, oh, no. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because we're just kicking it. Old speakers, the little guy, so.
How do you manage your carousel rotation? Do you ever, like, drop in an entire discography of a group or a band, or do you keep it mixed where, like, I got my chill CD, I got my party CD, and then that way you can kind of be in moods?
So I feel like typically what I do is I kind of, because a lot of times too, I buy albums that I want to listen to, because we also talked about this a little bit too, because I feel like I can focus on a whole album better, like with a CD, because my phone's not distracting me, like we're just there. So typically if it's an album that I want to re-listen to, or an album like, that's on my list of, that are on my list of ones I want to listen to, I typically will put it like in the order of like what I want to listen to, what I want to get through. Because not that I'm treating listening to music like a to-do list, but there's just so much music I'm like, I want to get through all of, like, as much as I can. So
same. And I want to listen to stuff that, like, people have deemed important, and people are like, you should check this out if you're into this, and explore and find new things. I always think that's, like, such a fun part of music. And what you're saying, too, with the whole idea of, like, just sitting down and listening to a whole ass album, where you're like, oh, okay, somebody made a decision that these songs go in these order.
Yes, and that's kind of my thing, too, where it's like, well, and I mean, I do still seek out, like, singles and stuff sometimes, and I'm like, whatever, like, when I'm on Spotify. But, like, I feel like you said, they put it in a specific order for a specific reason. So I kind of want to honor that at least, like, when I can. Because I feel like that's part of the artistic vision, probably, and whatever album was, in question. So.
Do you like concept albums?
It depends.
Okay.
And give me an example of one.
Okay.
We'll see.
So, like, a concept album could be like Sturgill Simpson did that album where it was like the anime thing. I forget the name of it right now, but it was basically like an anime story soundtrack thing. Or the concept album of like the first 4 Mastodon albums. Like the first album is Fire, the second album is Water, and the second album tells the tale of Moby Dick. The third album is Earth, and the fourth album is like all about sky and space.
I think so. The closest thing to me that like first comes to mind, I used to be really into that band of Montreal when I was younger. If you remember that,
I do.
Yes, but they have a few albums that are like pretty concept heavy. The one that I used to listen to a lot was Skeletal Lamping, and that was like a whole saga of Kevin Barnes. They were like writing about basically being this character named Georgie Fruit and going back and forth and like having like all these like sex changes, like doing all this crazy stuff. And it was like definitely very like concept albums. That's what I think of immediately. And I enjoy that album still, but I don't like it as much as I used to. And nothing's wrong with it per se, but I feel like just sometimes concept albums, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Unless I know what I'm getting into. So just over my head.
I just Googled concept albums real quick to see some other good examples. So The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance.
Okay.
Which it's like, okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
Or like American 88 by Green Day.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
if it's something more cohesive, not that it can't be abstract, but sometimes I guess if it's really abstract, then that's where I'm kind of like, you're losing me, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I could see the beauty in it sometimes, but like, you know, if I don't know what is going on, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no unifying imagery, or
Yeah.
that I'm like,
I'm with you. If it's gonna be a concept, it needs to be a concept, and there needs to be a through line. There needs to be something.
Yes.
Like it needs to be like The Wall, where it's like, look, this thing tells a story.
yes, exactly. Because like sometimes I feel like that, especially that's the thing is I feel like I've listened to a few, gosh, in the last couple years where I'm like, I get what they're trying to do, but it's also like not cohesive enough for me. You know what I mean? So, gosh, I can't think of one off the top of my head though.
Do you like long songs?
Yes, I was actually thinking about this the other day because I was listening to Trucker's Atlas by Modest Mouse. That song's like 10 fucking minutes long. And I was literally like, man, like, people can't give me the aux because I'm going to try to put this on and they're going to be like, hey, it's been 10 minutes of Modest Mouse. This is enough.
Yeah.
Like, I've had enough. So.
And that sometimes does happen, especially with stuff like that. I think of like Rush's 2112 or like or The Decline by No Effects, where it's like I think that's like a 20-minute song, or like Dope Smoker by Sleep, which is like an hour-long song.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh shit. It's like, it's kind of fun, but it is one of those things where I really have to sit with it. I just can't like put it on in the car or something.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's definitely not something I would play like around other people. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh no, like we're killing the vibes right now.
We are killing the vibes. Yeah, this is very much a solo journey.
Absolutely.
Me and the album, and that is it right now to this party.
100%.
How do you feel about CD storage?
I have such a hard, because I want to keep all of mine in their cases, because I know the flip books, I have a couple of those for some of the loose ones that I just have around, but like I want to keep them in their cases because that's one of my favorite things too is the artwork. Some of them come with really cool booklets, like Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. That's what really, really, really started this.
100%.
I got really into that album, but the packaging is so pretty, and it's like the double disc, but it comes with like a little booklet. And it's got all the illustrations and the lyrics and stuff. And chef's kiss, love it. But I want to keep them, all intact with like their little booklets and stuff. Because they do have fun little art sometimes aside from that one. But oh my God, do they take up so much space. And you wouldn't think they would. And moving them too, because I've moved a couple times. Lord, you don't think that CDs would be as heavy as they are. Then you get them all together. Oh my gosh, it's almost as bad as moving books.
It's not as bad as moving books, but it's
got the capacity almost.
I never want to move my record collection.
No.
I don't want to move my DVD collection ever again.
Oh my gosh, because DVDs do the same thing. You don't realize till you get them all together, and it's like
it's a little army.
There's so many.
One is not a problem, but they multiply. They're like the fucking brooms in Fantasia.
Real.
They just more and more and more and more.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you got 100 pounds of DVDs.
I think we might be going back to physical media. I'm wondering if we are because of the cost of streaming right now.
No, and genuinely, because I do work at the half price, and we've been seeing a lot of people bringing in, physical media, but at the same time, more people are also buying it. I've had the same conversation with people where I'm like, because I buy stuff physical. If it's a movie I really like, I'm just going to buy it. Because, I don't want to fuck around with what streaming service it's on.
Right.
Like, I'm not
or
trying
if it's
to do
not
that.
there at all.
Exactly. But a lot of people, they are buying physical media again because they're like, I'm so tired. Because it's almost like cable again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, so we're not doing all these different channels, but we kind of are. You know what I mean? It feels like cable television.
It's very cable. They made cable again, but they just cut out the local stations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my issue. But I don't like playing, and also the doom scroll going through streaming services too. But and the cost, I think what is Hulu now? Almost like, is it $17 now? I can't even remember.
It's up there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is then you start packaging the stuff where it's like, well, I got Netflix and I got Hulu and I got Apple and I got Peacock. Oh shit, I got Disney. Oh no, I got Max. And it's like, this is a cable bill. Like I'm just paying the cable bill again. I'm just paying it in smaller increments that are chopped up to different companies and entities.
No, exactly. And that's my issue with it too. Like I think the only thing things that I have right now are Hulu and Crunchyroll, and that's because, I mean, I don't even really use Hulu, so I don't know what I'm doing, but Crunchyroll's specifically anime, you know what I mean? Like, but other than that, I'm like, especially, at least for me, I can't figure out what to watch on Netflix 90% of the time when I get on there. That is the number one that I will, like, doom scroll on.
Yeah.
So, whew.
Every once in a while, something cool pops up, but then it's like, oh, what am I paying for here?
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause some of the Netflix originals are good, but it's like, I'm not about to pay all this for, like, 3 shows I'm gonna maybe watch, you
Right,
know?
exactly.
Yeah. And then everything getting taken off, switched to different services too. Oh, insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I also worry about, like, if I'm going to, another thing that worries me about not having physical copies of certain movies is, like, is somebody going to deem this, like, something they don't want to fuck with? So, like, one of my top 5 movies of all time is Repo Man. And I'm pretty sure I can't find Repo Man on anything streaming right now unless I, like, want to rent it or buy it digitally. Like, I just can't get it for free. And who's to say that the rights or something happens and then that movie disappears because it's, like, a weird cult 80s movie? Or a movie like American History X, where it's like, there's a bunch of Nazi shit in it. Maybe in the future, like, streaming is like, we're not fucking with this at all, no matter what the message of the movie is. It's just, it's Nazi shit. It triggers our algorithm. We're not going to carry it. And then that movie gets lost to the sands of time.
Yeah, well, that's been a thing people have been talking about too, is stuff kind of being lost to just being lost media, with it not being available on streaming services. And then, you know, as physical copies of stuff, you know, kind of die down and everything, it's like, I think I saw something about that animated show Over the Garden Wall. People were really up in arms about that probably getting removed, because I don't think there's been many physical releases of it. So, and that's kind of the sad fact of it, is like, well, how much stuff is gonna, you know, get lost going forward? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I worry about that. And I think you brought up a good thing too about you working at Half Price, people coming in there and checking stuff out. I think that starts to scratch the itch again of the joy of going to, like, a Blockbuster to rent a movie, or going to like a music store to buy CDs or buy records. Like, there is that thing again when you walk in and you're like, you know what, I'm here and I'm looking for this. But then you stumble upon something, you're like, fuck, I didn't know I was going to find this today. This is great.
yeah, no, exactly. And I think that is part of it too. And I mean, just like, even being able to talk to other people, like, oh, hey, like, what would you recommend? Because we have that a lot, you know, at the store and everything. And it's just like having that interaction of, like, somebody asking you and, like, you know, being able to have just an honest conversation about, you know,
Yeah, whatever.
a movie, a CD, you know what I mean? And I feel like post-COVID, like, people are trying to, you know, get out of their, like, shells a little more, especially in that aspect. So I feel like that's also part of it too. You know what I mean? Is, like, engaging and everything when you're picking out physical media. So
100%. And it's nice to have that interaction with people, because, like, we're so used to interacting with each other on the internet, and that's a weird experience. Like, sometimes it's good, a lot of times it's bad, you know? And,
Yeah.
And to, like, get to, like, have a conversation with a real person and meet and discuss something that you both find joy in, it's like, this is a good part of the day.
no, exactly. Especially when it's just randos, because you never know, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what somebody else is about to come in and talk to you about. Because I've had some people, like, off the wall, just talk to me about the most random, like, interests at Half Price, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know, like, oh my gosh, there's this one guy. So he comes in, right, and he is really obsessed with a Pink Floyd cover band, Brit Floyd.
I've heard of Brit Floyd.
Okay, and he asks me every single time he comes in if we, you know, have one of their CDs, because we can look it up online, like, if we have it in our system. And bruh, I think it's been at least, like, 3 times, 4 times at this point, this man has brought up Brit Floyd to me and just told me the same, like, spiel about, like, oh, it's, like, the best cover band, it's, like, barely any different, man. And I'm like, okay. Kind of, like, want to, like, smile and nod, like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but, like, you know, it's still kind of charming, because I'm like, oh, well, you like what you like, and this is endearing, like, this is fine, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm the kind of person, like, I'll let him tell me the same thing 4 times. I'm like, you're happy? I'm happy, you know?
my mom has a very similar thing going with Get the Lead Out, which is a Led Zeppelin cover band.
Oh.
And my mom knows, like, everything about the band. So, like, we'll be talking, and she'll be like, now, Paul, the bass player, he had this, and, like, she'll go off and give me some deep facts. I'm like, damn, okay. But she loves this band. Like, she loves them and seeing them live, and it's what makes her happy. And I'm like, you know what? That's what you're into? Rip it up. Go for it.
There you go.
Have your night. Have some fun. Check them out. Oh, shit. Well, look, let's get to the main event here.
Pokemon.
Okay. So that was something earlier I asked. Pokemon.
I really feel like,
we...
I think it's technically supposed to be Pokemon.
Okay.
But, like, we're not going to be pretentious here. Pokemon's fine.
Okay.
I think Pokemans is reserved for like my parents, like they would call it Pokemans. You know what I mean?
You want to get you some Pokemans from the store?
Yeah, get you some Pokemans.
If you could pick some Pokemans up, that'd be great.
Absolutely. But yeah, it does not matter, honestly. I feel like somebody would disagree with me on it mattering or not mattering, but Pokemon, tomato, it doesn't matter.
All right. Can you set the world of Pokemon? Like, so if somebody comes in, like I was telling you off mic, I had this conversation with my parents last night. My dad's like, what the hell is that? How would you explain this to my dad?
Oh my gosh. When you phrase it like that, because I'm not going to give too much deep lore. Okay, I'm trying to think like the condensed version.
Actually, let's reset that, because like if you drop anime on my dad, and that's going to be like, Anna what? And then that's even more of a conversation. So, all right, let's say you're trying to explain this to a guy in his 40s in his basement.
Okay.
That's sitting across from you.
All right. So, basically, you start your journey. In the lore of the world, I won't explain too much of it because we will get into that, but you're supposed to be, I think, 10 years old when you start your little Pokemon journey.
Okay.
And you get your starter Pokemon, and you get to choose between a fire type, a grass type, or a water type. And from there, you kind of go. And most of them, they've strayed away from it in more recent years, like games and stuff. Mm-hmm. Of having the same formula where you would go and you'd battle gym leaders, you'd get badges, you'd collect more Pokemon, and then you go all the way to the Elite Four, and that's like the end of the game. That's like the premise, Even in the anime, that's kind of, they do it a little differently. We'll get to that, I'm sure. But basically, you collect creatures, you battle them. It's like I guess ethical animal fighting. Because you're nice and they're your friends, But yeah, basically collect them, battle them, trade them with your friends. That was a big part of the initial games too. Was the being able to connect them with those link cables, because that then being able to like swap them back and forth. I feel like that kind of helped with like the original Pokemon Red and Blue, like the success. Because I don't really know too many other games that like, especially trading the data over like that. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, but they did that to encourage people to play with each other too. So
100%.
But yeah, so basically. That's kind of it. I mean, there's a million of them. There's, there's over 1,000 now Pokemon, which is insane. But I mean, there's one for everyone too, within the whole world. And there's how many different regions? Gosh, there's so much lore too. So it's kind of hard to give like the abridged version without like dropping lore on you.
I feel like you hit it really good right there.
Okay.
You got a very good, like, this is the general, because the stuff you were saying was resonating in my head, where like, I do know about the idea of trainers. Mm-hmm. I understand of like, you are battling these creatures. And then as you win battles, do you then win the creature that you beat? No.
Okay. So basically say Pikachu against Charmander, you would knock Charmander out.
Classic battle.
And you would get experience points like within the game, or I mean, I guess it still translates to the other stuff too, but you would gain experience points, and that would add up for you to be able to evolve your Pokemon. And you get like money from trainer battles too. That's how like the, JRPG, you gotta have, some kind of in-game currency for most of them at least. But yeah, so no, you don't get to keep other people's Pokemon. That's one thing that's stealing. And they're not too fond of that. I think it's if you try to catch somebody's Pokemon in a lot of the games, it'll be like the trainer swatted the ball away, and they'll be like, "That's my Pokemon." You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's like, they're not about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the world of anime cockfighting, you just can't steal the other chicken.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That's there's got to be some layers, some rules.
All
you
right.
know.
No. If not, you just have anarchy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pokemon anarchy.
Yeah. You need to have some honor. You have a rule set.
Some dignity.
There's a code that we abide by in this gym.
That's so funny.
And snatching people's fucking Pokemons is not the way this works.
No.
Okay. Very good. Rules. So when did you get into this? Like how and when did you discover this?
I have probably liked Pokemon since I was at least in like first grade. It was like off rip.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I remember so distinctly on one of those little like box CRTs. It was like a little tiny one that I had. And we had cable in my mom's room, and it was just a little tiny CRT in my mom's room. And I saw an episode that was like Charizard and Pikachu something, but I saw Charizard and I don't even like him that much now as like an adult, but like I was sold. I was like, what is that? That's so cool. That's a fucking orange dragon. He's got a flame on his tail. I'm like, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah,
like,
this guy rules.
sick. Exactly. And it just kind of went from there. And I really I feel like there's almost a time where I can't remember like not knowing about Pokemon. Because I mean, I was born in 96, so it came out like, you know, the year I was born. So
Right.
basically, you know, it kind of hit that like real big peak, but it was still going by the time I was like cognizant enough.
Yeah.
Because I think it was when I was definitely more cognizant, that was when the second games were coming around or coming out, and the hype for that was like off the chain.
100%
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I feel like kind of when it initially hit, it was kind of like a band that released a really good underground album that had a lot of critical acclaim. And then once the second thing of it hit, it just exploded. It was everywhere.
Yes.
And people were just, it was like now this part of like the pop culture lexicon where everybody knew about it. And it's a weird, this is the other thing research map was weird. It was like, it's a weird three-headed dragon, and I'm not sure what is the most important part or how this, because like it's an anime, it's a video game series, it's a card game series. What is the most important of this triangle? Like, how do you, or do they all work together to make this universe? Like, how does this work?
I think that kind of is the case where, like, they definitely work together. I think the games, obviously, first and foremost, are probably, you know, like, the most important. But we'll talk about the more recent games, you know, we'll probably get into that, I'm sure. But I feel like the games, especially back in the day, because, you know, it was on the Game Boy. Like, there wasn't too much they could do graphically, you know. So I feel like the anime really came in, and that kind of helped with the world building of the games. And then the TCG really helped with that, like, collectathon that, you know, was going on. Also, you know, kids love shiny cardboard. It's just a fact. Like, I
100%.
still love shiny cardboard to this day. You know what I mean? Like, you open a pack of Pokemon cards, you get the Charizard, you get the Mewtwo, like, you're gonna lose your mind. You know what I mean? Like, we're excited. But I feel like they all kind of do go hand in hand. And, like, I want to say the games are most important because, you know, that came first. But I do also feel the cultural impact of the cards, too, was insane.
Yeah.
Like, they were getting banned at schools. I remember we couldn't bring our fucking Game Boys. We couldn't bring our Pokemon cards to school. Like, it got to the point where they were like, no, you guys are doing too much. Like,
Yeah.
underground rings of Pokemon cards. You know what I mean? Like, kids getting cards stolen. Like, yeah. But
It's super interesting, like the evolution of card stuff, because originally it was like baseball cards, football cards, basketball, and then like we saw it turn into gaming cards. Now the whole thing of like Pokemon cards and Magic the Gathering cards and what that's created, these worlds where like people love shiny cardboard.
they really do. And I mean, during COVID, it was insane because I don't remember what was even the catalyst for this, but I think a lot of people did just jump back into collecting in general.
I think so, yeah, because people had time on their hands and just like they needed something to do or else they're going to go crazy in their house.
Yeah, and they were feeling nostalgic, you know. So somebody, I think, was it Logan Paul that came out with the Charizard around his neck?
yeah.
Somebody tried to tell me that was potentially the catalyst for kind of everything, you know, going that way towards collecting. So like, oh my gosh, like, that's the expensive Charizard card, you know what I mean? And what have you. But I mean, there was a point during COVID where the scalpers, I mean, it was for all TCG. You might have seen stuff on this. It was so bad that like you would go to Target or you would go to Meijer, anywhere. The cards would be gone within like, I mean, hours of like shipment getting there. Like there was a couple sets I didn't even open because I couldn't fucking get them. And then by the time they did reprints of them, I was like, I'm already over this set. Like, I already went to card shops and kind of got some of the, like, singles that I wanted. Like, there's no point. But, I mean, like, absolutely selling them on Facebook, exorbitant prices. Like, and I'm like, man, leave some for the kids, too, at least. Like, I know we're excited, too, but, like, come on. Like, these poor kids going to the store, they can't get cards either. Like, you're selling it for, like, triple the price. Oh, insane.
Yeah, the card thing is always interesting too because of the price. Like we just brought up with selling them, like the price point that these things can turn into.
Oh, it's insane.
And the value of it, where like people are dropping hundreds of dollars on cards, and it's just like it's nuts.
No, it really is. There is a card that I ended up actually selling because I had it and it was a while ago during the pandemic. But and this is a whole thing in of itself. But there was these e-reader sets, right? And they're like probably the last sets, I think Wizards of the Coast did for Pokemon cards. And you would swipe these things on this little electronic thing. It's a whole thing. Did not do very well. One of those Nintendo peripherals that they tried, and it, as Nintendo does.
Yeah.
Anyways, but these sets are ridiculously expensive. Like,
really?
If you were to get a sealed booster box of these nowadays, I feel like you could buy a house with how much they cost. I haven't looked it up recently because obviously I'm not going to buy a booster box of like, such an old set at this, But, stupid expensive. And I had a card from the Skyridge set. It was Ho-Oh. He's like a little phoenix guy. But I sold mine. It's typically, like, graded pretty expensive. Like, I've seen it go into the thousands. My dumb ass poked fucking holes in it when I was a kid and, like, literally, played with it the whole... Yes. No, I was so salty. And, I mean, I got, I think, like, 400 out of it, but it was ungraded. It was raw. And, like... it had a hole poked in it, a couple holes. And I literally was like, oh my God, why did nobody fucking, not stop me?
Because you're a kid.
I mean,
yeah,
you're going to play with it, but I'm like...
And that is the thing that I don't know. I don't know if the generations before ours saw the collecting thing coming, because I don't think people like used to save like some people would have like baseball cards or comic books. It was really rare that people would like keep stuff from their childhood, and that's become like a big thing with like our generations have become like being nostalgic for childhood and wanting to recapture that stuff and buying that stuff back. And when you're a kid, you're not thinking of like keeping it in mint grade. You're just thinking about having fun.
That's very fair. And I can see the other hand, like the other side of that too. Because I mean, if my parents would have tried to tell me like, no, you can't play with these Pokemon cards, they try to do that to me with Beanie Babies of all things. Because I had a bunch of Beanie Babies when I was a kid. They were like, no, you can't touch this one because it's going to be worth money.
Right.
And what did I do? Went and touched it. Yeah. Like, I went and played with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I went behind their backs and played with it. Like... So I would have been mad. So you got a point there.
Kids are gonna kid.
Yeah, still regret though. Oh my gosh, I still can't believe I did that. I'm like, oh.
Well, okay, so you said that Charizard was the Pokemon that got you into it, but you said you kind of slid. Do you have a favorite one now?
Absolutely.
Okay, who's number one?
Slowpoke.
Slowpoke?
Yes.
Who was Slowpoke? Okay, who is Slowpoke and what does Slowpoke do?
I have I have a tattoo of him. We are so dedicated to Slowpoke, his whole evolution line. But he's just a little pink guy. He's just real dopey. He's real slow. He's just chilling. And that's what I like about him. He's real cute. His evolutions are kind of tanky in the games too. I usually, because I raise Pokemon like competitively to play the online, and I typically like I'll try to run a Slowbro. He's like a defensive tank. Like
nice.
We're out here, so he's usually pretty useful. So that as well, but they're just cute little guys,
Nice. I love the fact that out of the 1,000 of you instantly were like, no, this is the king. This is who I love.
Well, this is like a really silly story, but there's a reason. There's like backstory.
I mean,
do you want this ridiculous story?
I mean, if I say no, then the listeners gonna be mad because you're totally leaving us hanging out. Of course, I want to hear the fucking Slowpoke story.
Okay, so when I was in elementary school back in the day, we would make those like little like. I don't know if you've ever heard of like teachers doing this, but we would make like leprechaun traps, right? And you would put little coins and stuff in there for them.
Yeah.
My little badass, this person put Pokemon coins, right, in their leprechaun trap. So that year I was the leprechaun and I took their Slowpoke coin.
Nice.
And so just since that day I was like, I like this guy.
This is my dude.
Yeah, this is my dude. And I still have that coin, and that's really, really funny that after all these years.
You still got the Slowpoke?
Yep, I still do. But it's just funny after all these years, and I stuck with him. He's just a cute little guy.
Is Slowpoke like a major character in the universe, or is he just kind of like a little side dude that's doing his own thing?
He's doing his own thing. I feel like he gets marketed though, kind of a decent amount. Like he'll get plushes and stuff. He's like. So if like Pikachu and like Charmander and them are like the inner circle, like the ones that are most recognizable, he's like somewhere in like, I feel like the mid tier.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, where he gets enough merchandise, but it's also like, oh, like, random, somebody wouldn't just be like, oh, this guy, I know Pikachu, know.
Okay, so he's like a cool site. He's like on The Simpsons, like Otto, or he's like, I don't know, like on Rick and Morty, he's like Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Like-
where it's like I know that dude. I
Yeah,
that
like
guy.
essentially, kind of.
Yeah.
Comparing him to Mr. Poopy Butthole. That's funny. I love that.
just like you know who he is.
Yes.
Do you have anybody that you hate?
Oh my god.
Is there anybody that's on the shit list, or is there anybody that you're just like, this thing is fucking lame?
Man, I'm not gonna lie, some of the ones from the new game, and that's the thing, is I'm gonna sound awful, but like, I don't even know some of their fucking names.
You about the gatekeep?
Or, well, no! I look, this is coming from somebody that put 300 something hours into the new game, and it is a broken mess, and I have 300 something hours in that game.
Tell them.
So,
Let them know.
yes, but some of these, I don't know. They're just, they basically took old Pokemon, right? And redesigned most of them and made like past and future versions of them.
Okay.
Some of them are really cool. Like you got the Tyranitar, he already looks like a big Godzilla dude. They basically made a robot version of him.
Oh, cool.
That's fucking tight.
That's cool.
But then some of them, like Suicune's this really nice, like majestic, like blue, dog, like blue-purple dog, like he's just very pretty. Mm-hmm. And they made like the ugliest like dinosaur version of him, and I mean it's fucking hideous and I hate it. And I can't even remember its name. It's like, yeah. I feel bad, but like, whew.
So you're just not feeling this at all?
No, some of the designs at least, and like even with the competitive, like, because I'll go on and play like ranked and do whatever sometimes, in the games, but people use the same Pokemon over and over again, and I was like, I'm just so sick of seeing them, like the same ones just used in ranked over and competitive, and I'm like, this is tiresome. One of my favorite Pokemon, though, is in this new gen.
Yeah?
He's like maybe in my top 5 at least, but his name is Palmont.
Okay.
He's like the Pikachu clone of the generation. Like
Really?
they usually have one per generation that's like some kind of electric rodent,
Okay.
or like some variety. But he's electric fighting, so he's like a Pikachu that's gonna beat the shit out of you. It's great.
Nice.
Good dual typing. We love him. He's very cute.
Well, explain. So the evolution, I think, is an interesting part of Pokemon, and I find it both. Let's start with the characters, and then let's move on to the world. What is up with like the evolution of the character? Like, is there a set number of stages per character, or do different characters have different levels that they can expand to? How does this work?
So they all go up to level 100.
Okay.
But different Pokemon have different amounts of like Pikachu only evolves into Raichu.
Okay.
And like Charmander will go Charmeleon, Charizard. So they have different amounts of stages. Mm-hmm. And then some of them have like branched evolutions. Ooh. Where if you do certain stuff, you'll get different results. Like Slowpoke, for example. Mm-hmm. He normally will evolve into Slowbro. But if you give him, and back in the day, you would be able to trade Pokemon with those link cables. And generally you still can. But back then it was a big deal because you would put an item on the Pokemon. So you give Slowpoke an item called King's Rock, right? And you trade it. And then he evolves into Slowking.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, and that was also, like, really neat that they implemented that back in the day, like, to have kind of the foresight, because that gave you more incentive to connect and play with other people, too. But, yeah, so as far as, like, the evolution and stuff, there's, like, so many different ways. There was one in one of the games, too, where, I think it's Inkay is the basic form, and you had to turn your DS upside down and do some crazy random stuff to get it to evolve. Like,
really?
Yeah, it was like in the X and Y games, I think. You would have to, turn it upside down to get him to evolve into like a big squid. Like,
again, Nintendoing, where they're like, let's make people do weird, wacky shit to make stuff happen.
Yes.
Which sometimes is cool and sometimes is weird.
Yeah, then sometimes I'm like, why do I have to do all this right now? Yeah, no. I remember because he was one of the last ones I needed for my Pokédex in that game, and I was like, I don't want to fucking do this.
Yeah. Nintendo is just so, like, I'm glad Nintendo exists. It's not the thing I want to game on all the time.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that they are always just like, fuck it, let's do something weird and see if it hits. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But like the idea of like the Wii controllers, or even now with the Switch controllers that are so super small. My buddy brought his Switch over, and it was cool that it was so portable. I'm just like, dude, how does this work? Like, I'm so used to holding a controller, and I just got these little things in my, like, just kind of my thumbs, and that's it.
Yeah, no, it's so much smaller, and like, because I've been playing a lot of PS4 lately, so even when I go to like go play my Switch, I'm like, this is for ants. Like, this is so small.
Yeah.
Like, no, I feel you on that. But Nintendo, they do be Nintendoing.
Yeah.
They stress me out with like the peripherals and stuff like we were talking about. They have just done so much silly, goofy stuff. Especially, I feel like it was that weird. Well, there's been like the two eras, but I feel like it was like the pre-Wii era because I love the GameCube so much.
Cube is great.
Oh my gosh! But I know it was like commercial failure, whatever. Like in comparison, and I feel like the Wii U, I'm not a huge fan, but also like. I feel like that was another like weird era for them. Yeah. But I do feel like the pre-Wii era though, GameCube and stuff. I was going somewhere, but now I started thinking about GameCube, and I'm like, oh, my favorite console.
It's such a cool console. It's such a weird, like, the thing they never really explained the handle, but the handle was there, and it's just like, yes, this is a portable thing you take with you. And I wish they would explain that more, because it also would explain why the discs were so small, because they wanted this to be this thing you could, like, take and share.
Yeah. Well, I think the discs were that small for, like, anti-piracy reasons, but I still think people obviously ended up cracking it, so I'm like, you just made the most, like, obnoxious, like, disc. And, like, they're so... Exactly. And I feel like they're so much easier to break, too.
God,
like, just so much more fragile. Like, ridiculous. But that handle, though, I used to have a neighbor that we would go and play GameCube together. And I would just grab my GameCube. I'm holding that little bitch like a lunchbox, walk in. And they were pretty durable, too. I'll give them that, too. Yeah. I feel like you could, the GameCube is... maybe close to being like the Nokia of the Nintendo console lineup.
100%. You could drop that thing off 2-story building. It's fine.
Yeah, I think it'd be fine.
It could take a bump. and it did make sense too, especially in that era where it was still the CRTV days of the red, the white, and the yellow. And at that point, like most TVs had like on the front of it, like the newer ones are like on the side. So it was very easy to get to like be portable and plug shit in. Yeah. And you really could just like go between houses with it.
No, you really could. And that was what was cool about it.
Yeah, it was super cool. Yeah. So yeah, and also as you pointed out correctly, Nintendo do be Nintendo, and because they also make like their own universe. I can only compare to like Disney or like Star Wars, where like Smash Brothers is great because of the Nintendo universe, but it also is the only reason I would ever buy a Nintendo console is for the Nintendo universe.
Yeah. No, 100%, and like. I get that. They've always kind of done that. You know what I mean? And I guess with because they have the online store now, and I feel like, they're letting more stuff be on their platforms. I mean, they've done that since the Wii, because I feel like that's obviously part of why GameCube, they had some third-party stuff on there, but, like, not enough, like, in comparison to, like, Xbox, PlayStation,
Yeah, especially with, like, PlayStation 2 ruling the world at that time.
Yeah, 100%. But I feel like, because like they just put a bunch of like ports of Persona games on there and stuff. And see, they're a little weirder though about backwards compatibility. Yeah. And that's actually that is one thing that makes me so mad with Nintendo, because there's so many games like I can't revisit, I can't play unless I'm gonna go shell out 80 like Kirby Air Ride for GameCube. Right. I want to play fucking Kirby Air Ride. The last time I saw that game for sale was at a different half price books, and it was like $80, and before I could even ask somebody to get out of the fucking case, somebody had already gotten it out of the fucking case and went to go buy it. And I'm like, my brother in Christ. Like, I just want to play Kirby Air Ride. Like, so, but it's like, I'm not about to pay that much money to play this game right now. 100%. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Please just give me backwards compatibility. Yes. Because like with Xbox and stuff, I mean, they have like a lot of the older stuff on Game Pass, or like, even PS Plus and stuff, like just in general. Or you could just put the disc in, like.
And celebrate your library.
Yeah.
Like let people go back and experience those things for the first time, because there's a whole bunch of people that are younger than us that have never experienced that. You know? And it's like, well, let them have a chance to discover it.
No, exactly. And that's my thing too. And I just don't know why Nintendo like so badly just and like they do have some of them available, for backwards compatibility. Like they have the N64 on the Switch now, like a few other different consoles. They put Game Boy Advance games on there, but it's like, bring more of the library, because they're like, it's so limited. I feel like just in comparison to how much was released, especially for like the more portable stuff like DS, and GameCube, or not Game Boy, you know what I mean, and Game Boy Advance and stuff. It's like, more, please.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, it's like you can't sell those, like all those games that exist. like you can't sell those ever again. Like they're done. Everything is third party. It's all used at this point. So it's like, why not release more stuff on your streaming service and give me a reason to pay to have Nintendo streaming, because now I can access these games that I maybe I never got to play or I'm nostalgic for.
Yeah, exactly. Because, some of them are at such an unattainable price point, too, that it's like, well, I want to play this game, but because, gosh, I mean, they have Earthbound on there, for example, and I'm pretty sure physicals for Earthbound are still absolutely insane.
Yeah, you're never getting that game.
No, there's no fucking way. You know what I mean? But, they at least made it available, so, oh, okay, you can play Earthbound now.
Yeah.
Because, that is experiences people missed out on. Even some of, the earlier Pokemon games. Nobody's gonna... The games I started out with, Sapphire and Emerald, that was the gen that... Because I'd played Pokemon games prior to that, but they were always other people's. Mm-hmm. And those were the ones that I finally got that were, my Pokemon games for my Game Boy.
Well, let's talk about that. So we talked about the evolution of the characters themselves. What about the evolution of the game? Because so this, again, me, 40-year-old guy in a basement... I know that there's these different iterations of Pokemon, but I don't understand what it means, because I know there is Ruby, Sapphire, Red, Blue, all this stuff. How does this work?
So typically, so with Pokemon Red and Blue, that was set in the Kanto region, Kanto, however you want to say it. But typically between games, there will be a region change, Gen 2, and people categorize it by generations. But there is Gen 2, and that's Johto. And then the one that I started playing is Hoenn. So typically, they're set in different gens between games, so it'll be a different region for you to explore between games with different Pokemon and stuff as well. So that's kind of the differentiating thing there. And then in more recent years, they've definitely tried to stray away from some of the typical formula they had going on for, I feel honestly, probably the first 6 games, because I feel even X and Y was kind of the same way. You have the gym leaders, you have the Elite Four, and I mean, they introduced other concepts, so, and that, it's just kind of hard to say there. It was really the Sun and Moon games, and that's kind of where the games that I tapped out a little bit. That is probably, I think, one of the only Pokemon games I did not finish.
Really?
Sun and Moon, yes.
So what happens in that instance where it's this is a thing that I love dearly, but they've screwed this up and I can't go through with it. What's that feel like to you as a fan of the series?
Pretty disappointing, honestly. And I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with the newest games too, because while I do love it and I've been putting a lot of hours into it, there's just aspects of it that I'm wow, this is disappointing. With Sun and Moon, for example, for me, it was just mostly and we're not coming to a Pokemon game 100% for story. There has been a few that have had really great stories, but we're not necessarily coming here for a story, because at the end of the day, it's a kid's game, and people that are gonna try to fight me on that, it's dog, this is a kid's game, you know what I mean? We're not here for some crazy we're gonna kill God JRPG, you know what I mean? We're fucking dog fighting our little creatures, that's what's happening ethically.
100%.
100%.
This is me when people get mad about pro wrestling. I'm it's made for kids, bro. They thought we were going to grow out of this by now.
Yeah.
And we haven't.
Yeah.
But you can't get that mad of it, because it's for kids.
And that's my thing, too. And people, they just get so upset. And they're oh, well, they're making Pokemon that look like fucking car keys. And I'm who cares? Maybe somebody really likes car keys. And also, it's not 100% for you anymore. They're gonna change the designs. So that's kind of my thing too. It's I can't be that mad, because at least they're trying to do different things. And Sun and Moon wasn't broken this newest game is. Mm-hmm. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet had so many bugs upon release. I didn't experience a lot of them, but it was enough to have them issue refunds.
Oh, wow.
And people were mad. And I enjoyed the game, and it had a lot of quality life improvements that were nice, but also so many things that I'm this is broken. You're supposed to do these raids essentially to grind post game. Mm-hmm. And bro, the connectivity sucks. I feel most of the time when I get on there, the other people I'm playing with, they don't know what's going on either, and the connectivity is so bad that you just end up losing, and then you have to either restart or find a different raid, and it's and the menus all suck too, and that's my biggest thing, man, is the menus. why did the menus even have to fucking suck to navigate? You know what I mean? Like, if I'm spending so much time, and I did spend a lot of time with it, so I got used to it, but like, I've kind of reached, a stopping point with this game where I'm like, man, I really like this game, but like, at the same time, I don't want to grind like this anymore, because it's not fun grinding.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fun.
And that's a major problem in video games. When you get to a point where you're not fun grinding, you're just grinding, you're just eating your way through a game, and you're killing hours of your life for like no real reason. But there is a reason you're trying to get to this level.
Well, yes.
But it's not fun to get to that level.
No,
it just sucks.
no, and that's my issue with it. And like, I just don't. And that's my issue with Pokemon 2 right now. And it's like, I still love it. As a franchise, everything, like, the world, whatever. But, like, y'all make so much money off of Pokemon. Mm-hmm. Why'd y'all release a busted game? Mm-hmm. That's my question, Like, and even though it is fun, and I feel like if they fix the stuff that was wrong with it, it would have the potential to be a pretty good, like, solid entry. You know what I mean? Like, if not one of the, like, better entries in the series. But, like, my word. Y'all make so much money, and y'all can't, like, make sure the game isn't this busted on day one, especially. Like, come on.
It's the gift and the curse now of online patch updates, where people release busted ass shit, and it's like, man, stop doing that. Like, the people that are willing to pay day one, that are saying, I believe in your product so much, I love your product so much, I will pay it at the absolute highest price point, and you fuck these people.
Yeah, and
like,
that's so fucked up.
Eat a dick.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of my thing too, because obviously, like, I'm gonna be a day one, like, Pokemon buyer, and that's so disrespectful to people, like, that are actually, like, invested, you know what I mean, like, in the series, like, that's messed up.
Well,
like,
we'll patch it. It's like, yeah, no shit, you're gonna patch it, but do it, release it. Like, why we even have to have this conversation? Game. Yeah, and I get it. You guys want to come out this quarter because of this and that, and it's gonna make you guys money. But no, man, just release something that's good. I hate when franchises do this. Have you seen any of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 backlash that's going on right now?
No.
Okay.
Surprisingly.
I'm not a COD dude. But kind of like Pokemon. I know of COD. I've played COD. But it's not my. I'm also not the dude. I'm also not a guy who like COD and Madden. Like, but there's a lot of people out there that are.
Yeah.
That like they're stuck on these two franchises, and no matter how repetitive and the lack of evolution there is, they will buy the update every year. And finally, people in the Call of Duty world have gotten sick of it, because this like new one came out, and apparently it only has like a 2 to 3 hour campaign, and it's busted and it sucks.
No.
And people are just like, the fuck is this? Like, what are you doing? Like, why did you sell this to us? And there's a huge backlash going on right now against the game.
Yeah. And I mean, that's like, I feel like kind of similar, not to the same extent, but I'm actually floored right now. 2 to 3 hours of campaign.
Yeah.
You're fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I would be so mad. Like, if I popped in really any game and wasn't expecting something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I would be furious. Cause like, that
sucks.
in this day and age. Like, yeah, no, I'm not spending, cause what is it $60 for it, if not more?
It's gotta be 60 or 70.
Yeah, 60, 70.
And of course, it's just like Madden, or it's just like anything else that EA puts out, where it's like, well, people are playing it for the online, bro. And it's like, I get it, but you guys just need to do something beyond roster updates every year.
And
like,
no,
you're stealing money from people. Like, if you're just gonna do roster updates, then just charge people like $10 or $20 online to get a new roster update every year or something.
That's actually kind of valid, because that's where I feel like the direction that Pokemon could eventually take. Because the other thing, in this new game, there's like 1,000 Pokemon that exist, right?
Yeah.
They don't even have the full roster in the game. And that's like the whole point of Pokemon.
Right.
And they stopped doing that, I think, in Sword and Shield. That is actually the second Pokemon game that I was like, I don't think I finished that one either.
Yeah.
And I feel bad, but it's like, I know all about the lore and all the silly stuff, but like, I just wasn't having fun. And that's like my issue just with how the franchise is gone. But to me, it's like you said, if people are playing it for the online or, whatever, then why don't you just release a roster update? You know what I mean? And like, at this point, I feel like they're getting closer and closer to maybe trying to do a Pokemon MMO situation. Mm-hmm. Dog, work on that. Like, people would love that. And then you could just continually release updates, add Pokemon, like, do something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And I think also you're hitting on there is like the heartbreak of fandom, where you love something so much and you see them fuck it up and you're like, hey, can you just like bring me in to talk to you guys and tell you what you're fucking up? Because
Yes.
it's not a really hard formula to deal with what you guys are doing. Right? I think you could really unfuck this pretty easily.
Yes, and that's like my thing is like there's still room to unfuck, you know, like the stuff going on with the like mainline Pokemon games. But I feel like they just don't listen. Like they
No.
keep doing the same shit, like or similar shit, like over the last few games. Everybody's like, we literally asked for this, and you gave us the exact fucking opposite. You know, they did. Pokemon Legends Arceus was actually really fun though. But that one was a lot different. Like, well, it's kind of similar to Sword and Shield in a way, but it was a lot more like kind of weaving in and out, like catching the Pokemon. It was like set in like ancient times. It was just a nice, neat little spin-off, you know. And like that's the thing is. Some of the Pokemon spin-offs are some of the best Pokemon games.
Really?
My favorite Pokemon game is actually for the GameCube, and it is Pokemon Colosseum.
Okay, I've heard of this game. What is up with this game?
It is. So, I think is it Genius Sonority that developed it? But it's basically like a JRPG Pokemon game. Like, it's got a fully fleshed out story. It's a little ridiculous at times, but like a lot of the characters too, like, so like JRPG, like especially like that you know early 2000s era, just insane designs, so fun. And the premise of the game, and I know we talked about stealing Pokemon not being good, right?
But
In this game, there's evil shadow Pokemon that the evil team has, you know, taken and made evil. So the whole thing is you have this like giant like mechanical arm, right? And you got this girl with you. She can see the shadow Pokemon, so she tells you when they're there, and you steal the shadow Pokemon back from the bad guys. So in that game, you do get to ethically steal Pokemon. But
Awesome.
It is so fun. And it was just really creative. And especially around that era. And it could connect to the Game Boy games too. So you could battle your Pokemon from there on the, you know, on the TV, or you could trade them back and forth. And they also did a neat thing where they put a lot of Pokemon from the Gen 2 games in that game. Because they had re-released Pokemon Red and Blue. They released it as Fire Red, Leaf Green. But they essentially did a revamped update of that. So then you could trade your Gen 3 Pokemon. Because the Game Boy Advance cartridges weren't compatible with the regular Game Boy cartridges. So once they released Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald and stuff, those could only connect with like Fire Red, Leaf Green, for example. Like, it was just within that gen. They couldn't go backwards to the, like, Game Boy cartridges. Just the Game Boy Advance ones.
Damn it, Nintendo.
Exactly. So then that basically, they never released... Well, they released Heart Gold, Soul Silver, which was remakes for, like, Gold and Silver, which was Gen 2. But they didn't do that until the Nintendo DS. But this game had a lot of Johto Pokemon, so it put them kind of back into the mix. So they still found a way to, like, put the whole roster in these games. Sure, you might have had to, you know, buy their other games, you know, like Colosseum, whatever, to get them.
But theoretically.
Yes, but you could still complete the full roster. And, like, you know what? That was at a time when it's like, okay, well, this spinoff is just as fun, if not, like, because I was about it. It was that and Pokemon Emerald that were, like, my favorites, and they connected and everything. But Colosseum, I had so much fun with. And it was kind of hard sometimes, genuinely. Like, especially if you didn't know what you were getting into, because the roster was small within that game. Like, you know, you could still trade it out, trade stuff in after you finish the game. But, like, you would have some really weird combinations that I know, like, I wouldn't have picked in the mainline game. You know what I mean? It was just a really, like, creative, like, journey for Pokemon. And I'm like, man, like... And they had a sequel to it, too, but that is so expensive. That game is, like... Man, I feel like the last time it came into my work, it was at least like $180 in box. I was not present for this, but like it's nuts. That's XD Gale of Darkness. It's a sequel, direct sequel to it, but a different protagonist. But no, so creative. Very fun Pokemon games.
I like the idea of like when a series gets so big that you can expand the universe and you can do offshoot stuff like that. I think that gets into like some really cool stuff where you can start to explore characters, kind of build up other lore. Star Wars has done a good job of that. We're like, I am totally over the Skywalker saga. I don't care about Darth. I don't care about Rey. I don't care about like I like stuff like Andor or like Mandalorian, where it's just like here are these other characters that just exist in this world where this gigantic war is going on, but they're just like kind of people and they're just trying to live life. And those are the stories I'm interested in, where I'm like, okay, I know the world, I know the lore, but I like seeing this from a different perspective than I've seen before.
Yeah, no, and that's a good point too. Like, because within Pokemon, there's different games that kind of like branch off. Because there's like different kind of trainers. There's a whole Pokemon Rangers series, and they're basically like the park rangers, the Pokemon, but and what have you. And there's like a whole series with them. But what was really interesting is they did a dungeon crawler series that was the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series. And the whole premise is like, oh, well, you wake up as a Pokemon and it's got like a lot of story, whatever, more RPG time. But like that was actually really neat too, because you got to play as a Pokemon. You know what I mean? And that wasn't something that was really typically, able to be done. So that was cool.
What's the vibe like playing online? Like, what's the community like?
Oh my God, they're so toxic.
No.
It's so stressful, dude. I was in a bunch of like Facebook groups when the game first dropped, because I was like, I'm trying to make friends. I'm trying to battle with people. Bro, these people are insane. Like, and that's kind of my other thing too, is it's like, man, like, and I know like with a lot of online games it has the capacity to get there, but I'm like, y'all, this is Pokemon. Like, do we gotta be being this off the chain right now? You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God.
Are people, is it like first person shooter games like Battlefield and COD where people are like just dropping like racial slurs and shit in like the chat room and stuff?
No,
or?
it's more so like within the groups, because there's like really Nintendo's weird about in-game communication.
Okay.
And so it's more so like within public forums and stuff.
Okay.
And like just the community in general, like online, the online presence, insane. Like I've seen people get bullied out of those groups for just asking a simple question, like, because then the dude's pushing up their glasses going, well, actually, you know what I mean?
The gatekeepers. The
yes.
guys that hold it down. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm like, dude, again, this is fucking Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, sure. Like, because like I said, I raised the Pokemon competitively. I go the whole 9 yards, but I'm not about to be a dick to somebody that just wants to play the fucking game. Like,
yeah.
And like, yeah. And people just get real shitty in the competitive sometimes, like just within those communities too. And I'm like,
Yeah. So gatekeeping is a weird thing I've run into across multiple like fandoms, collections, hobbies. And I don't know how I feel about it, because like on one hand it's bad. On some hand it should exist if people are like being disrespectful. Like you should be able to like smack down on people that are truly being dickheads. But I think by and large what you're talking about is really what's happening. They're like somebody who just doesn't know, or they're new, or they don't know etiquette, and then all of a sudden they just like get whacked out of nowhere by like some old head that's been doing this forever. And it's like, hey man, you also were once a noob. Like this person is just trying to figure it out. Don't be an asshole.
And that's my thing too, where I'm like, man, like, yeah, don't be an asshole. Like it doesn't have to be, like especially about Pokemon, like, you know what I mean? When a lot of people do enjoy it casually too, like, but it is just old heads coming out of nowhere, being like, whatever. And, that's my things. I try not to be an old head about the Pokemon, because I do like some of the newer ones. And like, I think it was around Gen 5 when Pokemon Black and White dropped, and that was another turning point where people either abandoned the series or they were cool with it. And I was still like on the fence through that time. But that gen, for real, at least in my opinion, I hate the designs from that gen.
Really?
Yes, like just the character designs of the Pokemon. Like there's a very certain aesthetic, I feel like, and I don't like it. And I feel like that is some of what the discourse and banter, and it gets so heated. People be like, oh, well, this gen's butt ugly. I hate this gen. Oh, well, that's my favorite gen. And it's like, we are fighting over fictional little creatures right now, friends. You know what I mean? Like, but it just gets so ridiculous so fast. And I've seen people like in some of those online communities just come for the throat. And I'm like, man, we talking about somebody's mama over Pokemon right now? Like, y'all are crazy.
I always love this with the nerd things, where like people will get this vicious, but then they'll go on Facebook and they're like, sports ball, and it's like you do it too, but you just do it
with a different thing.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because everything you're talking about right now, I'm just like in my head, I'm like, this is how people talk about college football teams, where they're like they're living and dying each week with the actions of 19 and 20-year-old kids that are just like trying to catch a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Real.
It's big to doings. Oh shit. So speaking of like inside the world, like do you follow any type of like YouTube channel or any type of podcast to talk about Pokemon? Is there anybody that like that you do like to listen to the voice of?
Not really, honestly.
Okay.
I used to watch a lot more, like random YouTube like back stuff when I was in like middle school, high school about Pokemon and stuff. I would say now at this point, I'm in the most that I interact with it is I am in a really cool like Facebook like Pokemon vintage collectors group. It's ran by this girl, her name's Grace, I believe. And she's got two of the coolest Pokemon collectibles ever. There is a Pikachu, like bug car that she has, and then she
That's
has
awesome.
one that is a Lugia, and that's like it was made for the promotion of the movie that Lugia was in, but it is a Lugia PT Cruiser. That's cool.
That's awesome.
But that's like what I mostly interact with is like the collectors group on there, because I mean people will post some of the most insane stuff, and it's only vintage, so it only goes up to like that mid 2000s like threshold point, like well, probably more so early. I think like the cutoff might be 06 or so. But I mean, some of the stuff that you see in there is crazy. But that's the most I really interact with right now. Like, it's nothing against like, you know, the scene or whatever. But I mean, if I look something up, I'm just gonna look up. You know, if I'm like, oh, I need to look up this Pokemon stats, like I'm gonna just look it up, like, you know, on like Bulbapedia or whatever. Like,
I think you bring up a good point about the marketability of Pokemon in terms of like all the stuff that it got turned into, because it's like there's very few things that do that, but some have. So like the Rock Band Kiss, Star Wars, Simpsons, like Harry Potter, like you can just like find all this random shit that it's been merchandised on, where like you can get cups of it and you can get a mirror of it, like you can get a coffin of it.
yeah, like with Pokemon, there's so much stuff. Like, they have various like cuckoo clocks, like weird stuff like
What?
that. Like, I'm so serious.
Dude,
And
that's sick.
yes, there's two different ones that are really sought after. There's one that's like an old school like cuckoo clock from like back in the 90s. That one's really fucking cool, and it plays like little jingles from the game. And then there's another one, and this is a whole other separate tangent. There was a Pokemon store in New York for a very brief period of time.
Of course.
And a lot of those collectibles, like, you cannot find because they were only sold
Exclusive to the store.
there.
Oh my
and
God.
so few people really went.
Of course.
Yeah. But there is this expensive clock that was at the Pokemon Center in New York, and it like does all this crazy rotating shit, and it's nuts. And too rich for my blood, but
Yeah.
like, my lord, is it beautiful. And like, you know, just the amount of other stuff like plates, like they do different like raffle things in like Japan at the Pokemon Center stores, and like some of the prizes will be like nice dinnerware with like these cute little designs and stuff on them and what have you. Like, it's insane. Like, I'm sure, like, because if you watch like a tour of the Pokemon centers in Japan, oh, I am sure there's got to be like toasters. We're talking oven mitts. Like, I've seen Slowpoke socks, man, Slowpoke slippers, you know, like the whole 9 yards. Like,
I love it. I love the idea of if you theoretically want, you can merchandise out your entire house in one thing.
oh no, you really could. They actually released, and I wanted some of this set so bad. They might still be selling it, but it was like gardening supplies. Like Pokemon themed like gardening stuff.
Sure.
Like a little, you know, like gardening apron. Like there was like a little flag, because one of my other favorite Pokemon, it's Celebi. It's the little onion fairy looking guy. And so they had like a little like, you know, outside flag for that, and little like you know, like shovels and what have you. And I'm like, this is so cute. Like, I really don't need this, but y'all got me this time.
Yeah.
Like, this is really cute. Like, but yeah.
The merchandising thing just floors me. It's and you know, again, it weirdly tying us back to college football, but like it's like the same thing with like Ohio State stuff. Where like I know I can buy Ohio State anything,
Yeah.
and the idea that I can buy like Pokemon anything is also really crazy to think about. That I live in this world where both these things are possible because of the fandoms are just so gigantic.
Yes, no, 100%. I really am trying to think. The cuckoo clocks are really like the weirdest thing I can think of off the dome, but I mean, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff in my eBay browsing days. There's one of the other things, they have old fish lures from
Really?
the 90s. Yes, there's one of Slowpoke, and that's the only reason I know, because I'm really deep in the Slowpoke, you know, collecting like a hole. But yeah, they have lures, literal like fishing lures.
Oh my god!
Yeah, this is just examples of some of the crazy shit I've seen.
I
Yes.
can't imagine like some good old boys going into like Bass Pro Shop and like finding Slowpoke lures.
Yeah, they're like, where are my Pokemon lures? I gotta get them. We're going.
Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch all them fish.
Real.
Oh yeah, for real.
For real.
All right. So speaking of collecting Pokemon, you got Pokemon tattoos.
Yes, I have. Oh my gosh, I have 3 of them.
You have 3 of them.
Yes,
So what was the first one?
the Slowpokes.
Slowpoke.
Yes.
Okay. And then what did you get added on after that?
I have Celebi and like a little Tamagotchi thing,
Nice.
and then I have Gary Oak, which he is in the anime. Well, he's technically in the games too, but his name's like Blue. He's like kind of a different character. But Gary is Ash's like asshole rival. And as a kid, I was like, oh my god, he's so funny. He's my fave. Like, he was just a dickhead, and I was like, this is so great. Like, he literally will just come up to Ash and be like, man, fuck you, you're the worst. Like, get the fuck out of here. Chump, and then just dips. You know what I mean? Like, that's basically, and he's got like a whole brigade of like cheerleaders and shit. Like, he's just like the most adored man in the fucking region, and he's just like, fuck you, Ash. And like, that's every time he's in an episode. It's so funny. But
I didn't know there was Bullymons.
Bullymons. Yeah, no, Gary's a fucking bully. He's an asshole. He's a dickhead.
This guy's great.
Yeah, no, genuinely. But yeah, no, that was me as a kid. I was like, exactly that. This guy's great.
Look what he's doing. He's just terrorizing people.
Yeah, that's great.
Cheerleaders love him. This guy rules.
Yeah, this guy's the coolest. I mean, I feel like there was a few characters, because also I've the tattoo from Seto Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh! And that dude is a fucking dickhead. But I loved him when I was a kid. I just thought it was like funny. I'm like, you know, I liked my share of like pure little cartoon boys too, you know, in my little nerdy childhood. But there was a couple, and they were assholes, and I'm like, absolutely, this is so great. This is funny.
So, did the artists that worked on your tattoos, did they know who these characters were, or were they just like, hey man, never day, never dollar?
Oh,
it's
no.
either this or I'd be doing an evil.
It was my friend Alex. She's a kawaii tattoo. She does like most of my tattoos. But no, she's done almost all of them. But no, she knows all the characters. She was really excited to do Gary. She's been excited to do a few of the other tattoos, like anime related too. But we were getting pretty weak about the Gary tattoo. Yeah,
it was the goat. It was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, this is awesome. But he's an asshole.
I always think that's like a fun, when people ask me about getting tattooed, or like, they're like, who should I get to? I'm like, one of the things is like, find somebody that wants to do the thing that you want to get.
Yeah.
It makes the whole experience a lot better.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's why for like a lot of my like anime stuff, I've gone to Alex, you know, A, because, you know, she's a sweetheart, but B, it's like she knows the content, so it's like we can sit and banter about it. Like the whole, I feel like every other few minutes when she did Kaiba for me too, and he has the Blue Eyes White Dragon with it. We kept calling him Blue Eyes Ultimate Douchebag. So that was literally like a Blue Eyes Ultimate Douchebag. So, you know, just like the banter, like, you know, it's like you care about this content too. You know what I mean? So
and I think
I
that's
agree
important.
with that. Yes. 100%.
I think it's very important. You find somebody that's like, I groove on this too, and like I want to put my best foot forward. I want to make this look good for you. It's like, hey, thank you. I'm enjoying this as well. Like,
absolutely, and I feel like presenting an artist too with something they want to do, like you know, kind of giving them free reign. Because usually, you know, I'll be like, well, this is what I want, but creative liberty, you know, I'll let you kind of, you know, figure out, you know, as long as it's a subject matter. We'll go with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like giving a tattoo artist like subject matter they want to work with, you know, like she mostly does anime and, you know, and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, well, here you go.
100%.
You know, like.
Yeah, here, fastball down the middle. You know what you do with this. Boom, home run.
Exactly. Every time, too.
Yeah, every time.
She's great.
Yeah. And she's an artist where, like, it's one of those people where it's like, it's not something I would get, but every time I see it, I'm like, damn, that rocks. Like, in really, like, the people that love that stuff, I'm like, hell yeah. I'm glad that this person exists and is making these cool tattoos because they look incredible.
Thank you.
I love how bright they are. I love the use of pink in a lot of these tattoos, which I think is incredible. I'm a huge fan of pink.
Yes.
Yeah, which you would never know because I just wear black everything most of the time. But when it comes to doing art, love pinks, love yellows, love big bright ass colors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pink is like very solid choice.
Yeah.
All shades of pink too, for the most part.
That's true. I don't like a Pepto-Bismol pink.
No, that's like a pink I can't get behind.
I can't fuck with that pink. The Miami soccer team, the MLS team that has Messi now, he has the #1 selling jersey in MLS right now, and it's Pepto pink. And I'm like, I can't, man. Can it be like a cool, like maybe like a synthwave pink? Can you do like a magenta or something? Like, come on, man.
But like Pepto-Bismol pink is like, that's kind of hard to work with. with.
No.
It's not even like bubblegum pink. It's like a different,
Yeah, it's just I don't like it. I don't like it. Not in my America. What about the mobile game? So, because that was something that again, this is me an outsider. So, like again, no Pokemon, know about like coming out, the card game coming out on the various Nintendo platforms, movie and all that, and then the mobile game dropped, and people lost their fucking minds.
I feel like that summer that dropped, I believe that was 2016. Like, that was so close to world peace, bro. Like, everybody was playing that fucking game. Like, the person I was dating at the time, he worked third shift, so we would go down to fucking Hamilton at like 3 a.m, and that whole bridge, so many people. Like, just
out and about.
Yes, dead of night playing Pokemon Go.
Yep.
Like, I'm so serious. It was so much fun, though.
It was
genuinely.
Such a cool idea where they were like, hey, let's just take the concept of geocaching and then add Pokemon to it.
Yes, 100%. And I mean, there's a lot of people that still play it. I've definitely fallen off. I'll get on. There's like a Pokestop by my work, so I'll, mess with it sometimes. There's like a gym too. Me and one of my coworkers will battle the gym and like, do whatever. But like, I don't know. It's just not, I feel like it's not the same as the first like few years of it, because I had a couple instances of playing it real heavy again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's still a really unique idea, and I think that they did a really good job with it. And they have added a lot of stuff since its launch that has made it even better too.
Yeah.
But like that summer when that dropped though,
people just lost
my
it. It was
God.
just everywhere. It
Yes.
was everywhere. You would just like see groups of people on the street in cities.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are they? And it's like, oh, there's a gym over there. And you're like, what? What?
Yeah. No.
There'd be like 10 people on a street corner.
yeah, and it was like a huge cultural thing, like 100%. Because I also I was one of my friends. Her house was like right next to this church that was a gym, right? And so we were absolutely the worst, and people would roll up, take the gym from us, and then as soon as they'd pull off and leave, we'd fight them and get the gym back, like that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? But it's like you knew what they were there for. Their cars parked there, and normally you'd be like, why is this person parked here? Right. It's like, oh no, they playing Pokemon.
Yeah, they're playing Pokemon.
Yeah, they're playing Pokemon Go.
That's bad. Yeah, again, I think that's a really cool idea of like how to take this franchise and just do something different. And again, I think this kind of goes back to our original conversation. Like, it works as a card game, it works as an anime, it works as a video game, it works as a mobile game.
It does.
It works.
Yeah, and I think that really the root of what makes it work is just the collectathon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just that's kind of what Pokemon is RPG monster collectathon. You know what I mean? Like, and there's so many of them. Like I said before, there's a Pokemon for everyone. There's like, they're up to like over 1,000 now. So like, there's a Pokemon for everybody. And I feel like that's especially with the mobile game too. And that was also when people were definitely feeling some of that like nostalgia, because that was the 20th anniversary, the year that dropped, I'm pretty sure. And so people were feeling that nostalgia. And of course, the first ones they dropped were that first generation. So people are like, what do you mean I can walk outside and go catch this Pokemon from when I was a kid? You know what I mean? Like, people were stoked. So I feel like, it translated really well to a mobile game. I will give them that.
It did. It was a really cool concept. Do you follow any celebrities that are into Pokemon? Like, okay, do you know who Jamal Williams is?
No.
Okay, Jamal Williams was a really good running back for the Detroit Lions who got traded to the New Orleans Saints. This guy is a running back in the NFL that loves Pokemon and brings Pokemon up like when he's being interviewed about like games and shit.
Okay.
And like, so now he'll like do stuff where like people will bring him anime stuff and Pokemon stuff, and like he'll like sign stuff for them and give them jerseys and shit and all this. Yeah, he's a super nerd.
Fair enough. But like, if I think about it, like, I can't really think of that many celebrities. I know, and this was so ridiculous to me, there was like something for, I think it was the 25th anniversary, and they had Post Malone in like some CGI Pokemon like shit for like the 25th anniversary. Yeah.
the Post Malone would be doing this.
I didn't understand it. In some of the songs, I was like, this is a Post Malone song. Like, I don't think the Pokemon Company, did you listen to this? Like, you know what I mean? But like, I'm not really like super, super into Post Malone. Cool guy. Yeah. But like, he was marketed with it, you know what I mean? But like, there's not really any celebrities like I can think of off the top of my head, which sounds awful, but I just am like, if I hear it in passing, I'm like, oh, they like Pokemon, we're cool. Cursed information, but I'm pretty sure it was the Sprouse twins, I think, were in a Pokemon commercial.
Oh,
Or at least
really?
some form of Nintendo like like DS era commercial, but I'm pretty sure it was Drake Bell that was in some of the OG like Pokemon
Really?
commercial. Yeah, back in the day, I'm pretty sure it was Drake Bell when he was like a literal child. Yeah, cursed information, but.
Well, look, we're starting to wind down. I got a couple more things for you. Have you ever been to like a specific like anime or not anime con, but like a Pokemon con? Like, is there a con of Pokemon, or is it just get wrapped under the anime video game banner? How does this work?
I feel like at this point they do like a Pokemon Go Fest.
Okay.
But at this point it's kind of like wrapped in with other stuff. But I did, and this is the biggest flex of my life, is on the 10-year anniversary, they did like a Journey Across America tour to different malls, right? Mm-hmm. And I begged my dad. I was like, please, dude, we gotta go. We gotta go. It's the Journey Across America tour. It's the 10th anniversary. We gotta go. And he finally caved. We ended up going. It was so much fun. It was still during the Link Cable days. So like, Link cabling with people, trading stuff. And
nice.
You actually would get event Pokemon from going to stuff like that. That is a whole...
That's cool.
There's a whole other rabbit hole. Like, this is what I'm saying, is there's so much with Pokemon. But you would get event Pokemon from stuff like that. Or back in the day, you could take your console to GameStop, and GameStop during select days would download a Pokemon, on your DS or whatever during those days. It was so cool, like event Pokemon.
It's so good at collecting.
Yes.
It is just everything about collecting that is collecting.
Yes.
Like jump through these hoops, get this special thing. Look how cool it is that you have this special thing.
Exactly. And that was what that con was, basically, is I got my Celebi, and to this day, I have it framed in my living room. I'll have to send you a picture, but nice. It is my trainer's certificate from that convention, that says I'm an official Pokemon trainer. So
hell yeah.
We're out here. But yeah, it was really cool. But that's like the only and that, oh my God, that was in 2006. But that's the like only specified like Pokemon con I've been to. And I'm sure there's gotta be some out there, but I feel like it's typically blanketed under, the like other, video game, nerd culture and what have you. Anime, all that.
Nice. Well, look, I got a few more things I want to ask you. Before I do though, is there anything that we didn't hit upon tonight you wanted to talk about? Because I know you have this vast knowledge of this world.
Oh gosh, not that I can think of off the top of my head, because trust me, there's so many tangents I could go on, possible
rabbit holes that can be ripped open.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, so some of my final questions are: one, you said there's a Pokemon for everyone. How would I choose a Pokemon? Could I have a Pokemon? Like, how do I figure out who my Pokemon is?
Well, I mean, with such a long list, I feel like I would start with asking someone their favorite animal. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Because at this point, there's gotta be a Pokemon,
okay.
for most animals.
I like gorillas. I like rhinos. I like Komodo dragons. Those are I like bears.
There's a lot of bear Pokemon. And I don't know, there is kind of like a Komodo dragon type of guy, but I think he's supposed to be more of like one of those weird sun lizards with like the things.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's more what he's supposed to be. There is like a lot of lizard adjacent Pokemon too.
Okay.
But as far as bears, there's Ursaring. He's from like some of the older games. He's just big old dude, and he evolves from like a tiny little bear, Teddy Ursa.
Little cute cub dude, and then he pops up and gets big and bulky.
There is. You like wrestling, correct?
I do.
There is Incineroar. He's like a Lucha Libre tiger.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
this guy rules.
Yeah.
This guy rules.
He's pretty cool.
This guy gets it.
There's also a little like Lucha Libre hawk guy. His name is literally Hawk Lucha.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a cute little guy.
Yeah, shout out Hawk Lucha.
Yeah, little guy. But
also Little Hawk Lucha sounds like a SoundCloud rapper.
It actually kind of does. I'll give you that. But I feel like I would just go with somebody's, like, what their favorite animal is, hobbies and stuff, because different Pokemon do different stuff. But then there's also the types. We didn't even get to that, really.
Shit, all right, drop this on me.
There's the grass, water, fire, but then electric. Like, there is so many types. There's ice, psychic, like, so many. I'm not going to list them all off, but that's another, like, category, and Pokemon fall into that, too. Their moves are based on that. Different stuff they can do within battle, competitive, whatever is based on that. But I feel like that's a way to kind of figure out what you like. Because, like, you like spooky stuff, you like ghosts. Here's a bunch of ghost Pokemon. Like, I really like psychic Pokemon because they're all kind of, weird.
Is there like a skull Pokemon? Can I get a skull?
There's Cubone. His lore is sad though. That's the one have you never seen like anything about Cubone?
No. What's
He's
up?
the one where he wears the skull of his dead mom on his head. There's
Oh, damn, dude.
Yeah, he's really sad. No, and that's the other thing is like I could do a whole thing about like fucked up Pokemon, like because there's the Pokédex like entries.
Yeah.
Some of them are fucked up. Like there's one that literally the lore of it's a Drifloon or Driftblim, one of the two, where it literally like fucking steals children. Like it's a ghost balloon that steals children and like just whisks them away, never to be seen again.
There's a child trafficking balloon.
Like
That's not good.
yeah, dude, some of them, and I'm like, what the fuck? Where did y'all come up with this? But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of options and a lot of subcategories within that as well. Insanity. Too many options, maybe to some extent, but still fun.
All right. I don't know if you've ever wanted to play God or not, but if you could, what Pokemon would you create?
Oh my gosh. Man, I would want a psychic cat Pokemon. That's
Okay.
not Espeon, because I feel like Espeon kind of falls into that. It's one of the evolutions. But like, I don't know, something a little more mystical. And I know there's always like a Pokemon like in every gen that's a cat. But like, I just want a like weird psychic cat. Give me some weird eyeballs or something. Some, I don't know.
Is it one of those hairless cats, or would you want some furriness?
That's a really fun idea because I don't think they've done like a hairless cat.
Ooh.
And with that, like those kind of rising in popularity, I feel like that's next.
All right.
They did finally do a cat starter Pokemon though last gen, which I was like, finally. But well, I guess they kind of did that with the tiger, but that's
Nintendo, call us. We got ideas.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get us paid.
Yes. Hairless cat Pokemon time. Let's go.
Exactly. And that time is now. Okay. Well, what do you want the future of this to be? Like, so as a lifelong fan, I really don't see you not being a fan of this. So what do you want to see it evolve to in the future?
I really kind of want to see them go the MMO route, like I touched on a little bit earlier. I just want them to not release, like we talked about too, like something just broken on fucking day one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, thank you. So, I mean, I don't know. They finally made Ash not the main character of the anime, and I was like kind of sad at first, but I was like, okay, about time. Maybe you'll actually like make an anime. You know what I mean? So that's kind of maybe going that way. But like as far as the games, like I don't know, maybe do a spin-off. That's cool. Maybe do an MMO, like, or, increase the roster, but don't keep releasing the same game basically every 2 to 3 years. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm being shady. It's personal. We're coming for blood, Nintendo and Pokemon Company.
Well, I mean, but that is kind of the thing where, like, when you're somebody who supports something and loves something for so long, you do get opinions on it. Where you're like, I want to see it go this way and not this way.
Yeah, and especially being a fan for so long too, it's like, dog, like I don't want to be disappointed again.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I don't know how hard, because they did bump up the internet connectivity this generation, like with all this, but I feel like with more MMO elements, like they could get probably like a really solid, like with the community with Pokemon Go, if they got a community of people, in like an MMO sense in one of the mainline Pokemon games, I feel like they would be set.
Yeah, and
like,
I'm kind of surprised they haven't really done that yet, too, with like the success of stuff like World Warcraft and the various other MMO games, or like what Fortnite has done with connectability. Like, there's got to be, and at the end of the day, it all comes back to this idea of like it's just creatures battling each other, which is a very simplistic idea.
Yeah,
you can take that simplistic idea and put a lot of cool shit around.
Yeah, and like the connectivity is there, but again, like it's not as polished as it needs to be, and there's just also so many silly things with it too that are just inconvenient in comparison to like other online games. Like it would just be nice to see them polish that and just like make a better, like, well-rounded game. You know what I mean? Like
a better experience.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like I've been asking for that for like the past 3 mainline games, and I'm like, man, clock's ticking. You know what I mean? Let's go.
I want to keep supporting you, but
yeah, you let me down.
Oh, that can sometimes be a bad feeling too, where you fall out of love with something. Where I could think of that where like with various bands that I liked, where all of a sudden they went in a direction where I'm like, oh man, I didn't want this to happen. There was this band I really loved. They were called The Sword, and they eventually broke up a few years ago. But like they got on this weird arc where they just kept getting like everything was just lighter and lighter and lighter, and it was like really like hippie prog by the end. And I'm like, you guys used to write songs about like frost giants and shit. Like, what is this? What happened? But it just evolutioned into something that like I was like, oh man, I like the older stuff, but I'm just not a fan of this now, and now I gotta leave.
Yeah, and like that's the point where I don't want to get to, where it's like, okay, well now, like, you know, if the next game comes out and it's like bad, then it's gonna be like I'm kind of almost gonna be to that point where it's like, well, I have to. You know, there's the door. Like,
Yeah.
I'm fucking leaving. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
You don't want
and
that.
I'll still probably support it in other ways, but like, you know, we're not about to do this, you know, again, like play another busted ass game, you know, like I already did my time with this one. I gave it enough of a chance. I've had fun with it, granted, but also at the same time, not enough fun.
Not enough. No, it was good, but the good's not good enough.
No.
All right, fair enough. Well, Jackie, thank you so much for coming on doing the show. I had a blast chatting with you.
Absolutely.
Can you let people know where they can find you out online if they want to like talk to you, get at you, talk Pokemon?
Yeah, I mean, they can, well, you linked my handle, right? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm good at identifying Pokemon merchandise too, so people can reach out to me. I had a friend do that recently. They're like, what plush is this? And I'm like, give me 10 minutes.
Oh, and, what's your IG again?
Oh, it's Cool Shaven Ken.
There you go.
Yep.
First podcast.
Yes. Sorry.
Listener, you can find me at Neil to No One on Instagram. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If somebody's into Pokemon, share the episode with them. And, just share the podcast in general. Algorithms suck. It's hard to get through them. I don't have a big budget to spend on advertising. But there's, at this point, with over 140 episodes, there's something out there for everybody. And all the episodes are evergreen, so you don't got to worry about something being stuck in time. Yeah, they're all evergreen, so check them out. Jackie, again, thank you so much for doing the show. I appreciate it, and thank you for dropping all this Pokemon knowledge on me.
Absolutely. Anytime, any day.
Hell yeah. All right, listener, peace.